All right. So we're gonna get this thing going. I want to get to know you guys a little better. I know you guys just a little bit. We got a little bit of your story actually before the camera started rolling, but I want to kind of get inside the mind. Let's just start with you, Armani, and we have Chris over here. But let's start with Armani. Armani, you have an amazing story.
Thank you.
Like the fact that it came to, it's just I heard from a little birdie that you were raised with a Muslim and a Christian parent.
Yes.
Dual household where they both kind of, you lived that way for a while.
Yes.
And then now you ended up Christian somehow,
Yes.
some way. Not in your recent year, not in the beginning. Childhood years, but now you found yourself being a Christian. I want to know, how did you navigate that? How did you end up a believer? Like, what was that journey like?
Absolutely. So, my stepfather was Muslim. His side of the family is all Muslim. My mom, Christian, right? But you can be Christian going to church, but it doesn't mean you necessarily know Christ. And that was kind of the situation with my family on my mom's side. Now, my great-grandmother and stuff, like, she prayed, she speak in tongues. All we heard was gospel all day. Like, she was really about that life, that Christian life. But my mom and stuff, it was just more of out of habit of going to church on Sundays and things. Whether on the other side, when it came to the Muslims, it was like devotion. I saw like commitment to the faith. And so I grew up confused, honestly, from a young age. I'm like, I'm praying to Allah one day, I'm going to church. I'm like,
Were you more attracted to the commitment and devotion you saw from your Muslim side?
I was attracted to that, and also I think I was attracted to like some of the traditions, like wearing head wraps and the way we prayed. I was attracted to those type of things, but I still was with my mom's side more, so I was still going to church faithfully. And over time, as I got older, more so in my teenage years, that's when I started to rebel religiously. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know what any of this is. I feel like I've been in church, but all I know is Adam and Eve, something bad must happen in Revelations. Like, I didn't really understand what was going on in the Bible. And then when it came to being a Muslim, like, all I knew how to do was pray. I didn't feel like I learned anything about Allah either. So I just went on my own spiritual journey during my teenage years of trying to be a Hebrew Israelite, Jewish. I practiced Buddhism for a while, like, and I was just going through this journey, and I did that for years. And I would still go to church though, because when I was with my grandmother, it wasn't an option. So I would go to church, and they would have these conferences, and I would feel like I'm feeling something, and I would still go back, and I was just living in this life of confusion. So it wasn't until around 2018 I just had this experience with God. And you hear a lot of people talk about stories of experiencing God, and it sounds like jibber jabber, and it's like, oh, they just making it up. Until you experience it. And that is what changed my life. I was at home, it was just me and my son. I'm listening to music, and then a Christian, like a gospel song comes on, and I just get overwhelmed with emotions, and I'm just on my knees. I feel like I'm getting emotional now. Like, I'm just on my knees, like crying, boo-hooing, and I just feel the presence of God just cover me. And at that moment, I'm like, all right, I gotta do something. God is real. I know it. I feel him calling me. It's like he left the 99. He coming to get this one. And he's like, I want you. And at that moment, I'm like, all right, God, if you want me to do this, you got to send me like-minded people. You got to send me young Christian friends to help me. I was like, because if you don't, I'm going to go right back. I can't do this alone. And he was like, I got you. Literally, I went on Instagram. I found this one person. He led me to other people, and the rest is history.
Wow. That's amazing. That's story. And then when I kind of rediscovered you, I'm noticing that you're doing something called Bibles and breakfast.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that and how you came into that.
So one of the things that also kept me away from wanting to commit myself fully to Christ was that I didn't feel like I was clean enough to be a Christian. I felt like to be a Christian, you have to be perfect, or you have to look a certain way, act a certain way, be a certain way. And that was not me. I feel like having a son was my sin exposed to the world of, okay, I'm not married, I have a kid, so I'm out here doing something that I shouldn't be doing, right? And there's other Christian girls, I'm like, they're still virgins. They're not doing the things I'm doing. I can't be a part of that. So it kept me from committing. And then I went at my church, they were asking for people to be small group leaders, and no one was signing up. And I was like, I'll volunteer. I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about. Because like, it's okay. Like, you don't have to be perfect to do it. And I did it. And the girls that came, they started telling me stuff. I'm like, I didn't know y'all got struggles too. Oh, y'all didn't see it too. Like, okay, so I'm not out here alone. And it made me realize, like, wow, we, as far as the Christian community, we need more open, transparent, honest spaces for people to come and feel comfortable to build that relationship with God. So Bibles and Breakfast was that. It was a non-judgmental space for women to come. I do Bible studies every week. We do Christian events. We do retreats. In December, I did an event called Beauty for Ashes. And that was for, usually in New Year's, we make all these New Year's resolutions. Right. 2 weeks later, we done already messed up. It's already gone. Yeah. And I was like, all right, we're not going to do that this year. Come, we're going to have a bonfire. We're going to put everything in the fire. We're going to worship. We're going to pray. We're going to do this as a community in an intimate space. And you're going to get rid of all those things. And then after that, we're going to have 4 weeks of homework where we're preparing ourselves. Before the new year starts, we're going to be prepared. So when the new year begins, you're already there. You already worked through those
God
things.
done call you to
Yeah,
that's dope.
Yes. And it's like me, like from where I come from, I would never have thought that God would use me the way he has. And it's really like a testament of just faithfulness, being obedient to God, and how he can use you no matter what. So.
You got so much going on. God is he definitely has his hand on your life. The last thing you got so many interesting things that you do. So what do you do for a living? You're a virtual what?
So I work in virtual construction. So technically it's BIM, Building Information Modeling Management. It's a newer concept, but it's summed up under virtual construction. And right now I'm a project engineer. I work on the project management team. So we basically build 3D Revit models. We work through the process on the front end, and we do clash detection coordination so that when it does get built, we've already figured out, okay, this conduit line is going to clash with this duct. That's going to be a problem. Let's fix
conduit
it down.
line.
Right. I'm like, what?
I need to go back to school.
So we figure all that stuff out on the front end, and it's crazy coming into this because a lot of people don't understand things about trades and the different paths you can take. And you can go to college and you can get in these trades, or you can go to a trade school. You can learn things. You can still get a job making great money. I don't worry about anything. I'm good.
Wow.
So it's like I'm blessed to have this opportunity. Working in the construction industry as a female, you don't see many of us. Right. So it's something that I wish more women knew. Like, hey, like this is the path you can take, and you don't have to be out in the field all the time. Like you can do this. You can work hybrid. You can be at home and doing these things on the computer. You can learn these skills, and it's a high demand. Yes. People are looking to hire. So
wow. I'm just proud of it.
I admire you so much.
Oh my gosh, like you got me all fired up and inspired. Chris, same way. First of all, I just want to thank you. I put out the call. I met you like officially years back. And you know, on the poetry scene, he's been in the fitness world for a while, and I admire this cat. He's definitely like a legend in the fitness world as well. And even social media as well. Like you might see it, if you see his face now, you might have seen his face before. You've gone viral many, many times. I just want to kind of get into the space of Chris. I even remember when you even passed the bar. That was a big thing. That even went viral.
Like a lawyer?
Yeah, he's an attorney. Listen to me. Let me tell you, we don't get like random folks on this show.
What type of bar? Like you bench press?
Yeah, look at everything.
He's an attorney, young attorney, just turned 30.
Yeah, just turned 30.
I mean, we are blessed to just have the
both
best
of y'all. Like I just need a little. We could forget these cards.
We could talk for hours.
Right.
And loves the Lord. Mm-hmm. He's on social media, inspiring people to follow the Lord. I want to kind of, one of the big things that, people have come to know him by was just his abstinent life, waiting for marriage. Are you still waiting for marriage?
Yeah, we still.
I would hate to
we still on this journey.
Come on, and introduce me to you. You're now in this attorney space. You live in Louisiana. Talk to me about like how you ended up here, because you do everything. You also are an entrepreneur. You have your own clothing line. You model. You do everything. Tell me how you juggle all of this. Stay saved. Look great. Building your body, and you're doing all of this. How are you doing and juggling all of this?
Oh man, so kind of gonna give you the elevator pitch. So I have a family full of attorneys. My cousins, my brother, my dad, and my aunt were all attorneys, right? So it's kind of already in the family, right? So after the NFL thing didn't really pan out, God told me to go to law school. I pivoted, went to law school, right? Ended up pretty much taking that same work ethic I did for the NFL, tried to do that, and I did that with the law, right? So I passed Louisiana bar on the first time, then if you know Louisiana bar, it ain't a cake work.
3 times. First time.
So, but that was just a testament from God, right? And my biggest thing is everything that God put inside me, I'm trying to get out, right? On this earth, I'm trying to get it out, and He gave me a lot of skills and talent. So between that and being a painter, to own my own clothing line.
What do you mean?
Like actually painting. Yeah, I paint.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. Been painting my whole life. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dope. I definitely got to see more of your work.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
My daughter, art paint like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, I mean, I do that too. I mean, in my house, but no, we paint creativity. Yeah.
That's what's up. Okay. So I like that motto. You're saying everything that God put in me, I'm trying to get it out. So it's not that you're just trying to I'm just trying to hop in every scene, but you're like, I got a purpose.
Yeah.
People have to see what God has put in me.
Well, because a lot of times, society, people, they put you in this box like, oh, you're just an attorney, or you're just this, or you're just a Christian. It's like, no, I'm all of these things, right? I'm the athlete, I'm the attorney, I'm the model, I'm the actress, I'm this, I'm that, and I just put them together, right? And how I balance it is, it kind of comes in waves, right? So sometimes the art might be taken off. That's when I kind of go into art. Yeah. Sometimes I'm in trial. I can't do nothing else in trial. Like I'm focused on that. So you just got to know. I've learned in college from pledging and doing a bunch of different things, playing college football. You got to know how to pivot and, hey, this is the focus now, I'm all in here. This is the focus now, I'm all in here. Wow. And I'm sure y'all can attest, getting married and having kids, you got to be able to do that too, right? Yeah. So, God's just kind of trained me for it, if I'm being honest.
That's what's up. Yeah. That's what's up. Like adjusting and accommodating wherever God puts you, because sometimes God will shift you and you got to know how to lock in.
In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. I
like that.
That was the whole NFL thing. Like that hit me.
You really was like locked in.
I mean, if I'm being honest, the whole abstinent thing, waiting till marriage, it started with the NFL.
What does that mean?
So obviously I'm not 6'6", I don't run a 4.2. So I was like, man, how do I get an edge, right? How do I, and me, one of my best friends, we decided going into college, in high school, was like, man, we got to find a way to get an edge, right? So no drinking, no smoking, no sex. We made that in high school. So going to college, I was like, cool, like this is all I'm focused on. So those times I would be doing those things, I'll watch film, or I'll go to the gym, or I'll study, or do whatever, right? And then as I grew my relationship with Christ, I understood the motivation had to change, right? Because what happens in the NFL didn't work, right? Which it didn't. He was like, oh, you just gonna throw everything, right? So I grew up so much in the spirit that it was like, it was part of me. Right. So even if I wanted to, it was like, God's like, you know better now. Wow. It's one thing to not know, but you know now. So I got to hold you accountable. And I feel like he's given me the strength to carry out this cross. So I got to do it. Right? And I want to show people.
Is it tough?
Oh, it's tough. It's still tough. Right? Like, hey, I
just want to know because come on, life, bro.
And it'd be one thing if I was, some, different guy to where it wasn't like an option.
Yeah.
But playing college ball, being in fraternity, like if I'm being honest, it's easy in college, right? Yeah. And since then, but you gotta, like, what is the goal? What is the purpose? Why are you doing this, right? And I want to give my wife something that no other woman has had. And then I also I got to be obedient too, right? Because he told me to do it, and I want to show young kids, young men, young black men especially, that you can look this way. Wow. You can have the look, the time, and still live this way, right? So you got to show them, right?
Sorry, excuse me for shaking his hand so much.
The things he's saying is like so crazy. Like the conversations I've had lately is so many things. One of my prayers is always like, Lord, let me leave this world empty. I want to pour everything out. I don't want to leave. I don't want to die with any potential. I don't want to die with anything left that you want me to leave on this earth. Wow. And then two, like obedience. I was saying, there's a lot of men of God. There's a lot of men that fear God, right? Satan fears God. But there's not a lot of men obedient to God. Yeah. And that's what I'm looking for, a man that's obedient to God. Wow. And that's something that you don't find often. Wow. So kudos to you and your discipline.
Yeah.
Hey, we turning up.
But give that to both of y'all. Because both of you, like, y'all not leaving this world empty. I'm thinking like, okay, what else do I need to
Like,
do? I have
y'all
my
really
kids.
schooling us. Like,
Yeah, I'm married.
As if they not. Yeah, come on, y'all. Like,
seriously, no,
No,
honestly,
I really am inspired.
when we come to this table, especially hearing you guys' stories like this, it's just like, all right, God, let's go. Whatever you want to
Yeah.
do, you guys inspire us as much as we could inspire you to inspire us. So thank
Most
you.
definitely.
So we're gonna take it up. We're gonna take it up.
Let's get into it now. Yeah.
They're called the whole truth, and so we start.
No,
with the
zoom
light
in
side.
on it.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
zoom in
Go
on
ahead.
this. Yeah, the whole truth. You guys can get that thinking about it. But we want to ask some light questions, meaning these are questions that we just kicking things off, ice breaking. I want to ask, what are some wrong assumptions that people make about you? Either one can start.
Ladies
Yeah.
I often get that I am like stuck up or other words. Really? Just off of appearance. And I've gotten that from a lot of women. And they come up to me later like, oh my gosh, you're so nice. You're so cool. When I first met you, I thought you were stuck up. I'm like, I've never talked to you before. So
Do you hold a certain face?
I don't know. Maybe
No,
my
you're
face. Oh my God.
welcome into me.
Yeah, very welcome. The first time I met you and today just coming in.
Thank you. So I'm not sure why, but I get that a lot, that people assume that I'm just stuck up or like mean. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I will talk to a stranger.
Right.
Like, you have no idea.
That's because you be dressing. That's what,
And I think sometimes people don't have the words for it. It's because of their insecurities.
I
They
was
don't
just
know
about to say,
how
they projecting it.
to
Yeah,
approach
yeah,
you.
yeah.
So it's like, oh, because she didn't say hi to me. Well, did you say hi to her?
And sometimes I'm just focused. Like,
Right.
I'll be like thinking of something. And so if I'm thinking, I might look like scrunched up. I'm like, I'm just in deep thought. Like, I'm not upset or anything. So, yeah.
that's crazy. Okay, stuck up. You're not stuck up.
Thank you.
She's
about
not
you?
stuck up.
So me, I get two.
Okay.
You know, especially in college and stuff, I get he's too religious for me, right? Like he's too godly, or all that stuff. Yeah. But now, if I'm being honest, the older I get, it's more of, I don't know if it's my profile, I don't know if it's the fitness part, but people just think I'm this player womanizer type. I don't get it though. I'm the most.
Look how
It's the
clean you
six-pack,
are.
dog.
Yeah,
It's
it's
the
a six
six-pack,
pack.
dog.
So am I not supposed to work out because I don't get it? I don't
That's
get
the
it.
hard part, bro. It's so
Man.
crazy. You can't even inspire. Like if you're doing fitness and you're inspiring people, hey,
Right.
this is what we do. Like everybody we're so corrupted.
Yep.
We gotta sexualize it or project. Like
Right.
he's doing that because he's trying to get the women in his bed.
They really think, people on Instagram really think I portrayed, the whole virgin thing as a ploy to get more women.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's too much work. Like, why would you want to
It's
do
easier
that?
than that.
Right. And I was like, nah, man. I mean, I'm authentic. This is who I am. You
Yeah.
know, some people gonna like it, some people gonna not.
Right.
But I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But I guess I think it holds more weight to it, right? Because now it's a decision. It's not just I'm a virgin because you just don't have the. I'm actually deciding to do this and I'm living my way like that.
Okay.
So I guess it's 50-50.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you going to answer your question?
Oh no, this was just for them.
Oh, okay.
This is just for them.
He kind of dodged that.
No,
Yeah, he said no.
I got to ask you.
Can I ask you what's a wrong assumption people make about you?
Probably that I have it all together. Thinking that, oh, she got 5 kids. She probably know how to jump.
I didn't know
You have
that.
5 kids.
I have
Yeah, I
5.
didn't know.
Yes.
Oh, y'all done?
That's a lot.
I'm just asking. Be asking with such deep.
Yes,
done.
yes,
You got a
yes.
basketball team, huh? I
You
see
gotta
you.
start in lineup.
So I think just people think I have it all together, not knowing I'm trying to make it to. Yeah. So.
Same thing, literally.
Really?
Well, I think people think just seeing us together that we just literally don't have bad days. I've heard that before. It's just like you make it look so easy. I'm like, well, thank God for the grace.
Right.
But sometimes we struggle. We have a lot of hard times and hard days, and we just be grinding and trying. But the Lord, He was like, let me just paint that up for you.
Right.
And present. And what we try to do as much as we can is we try to be honest and transparent.
Right.
About how we struggle and where we struggle. No way, no how are you ever going to hear us say everything is always rosy on our side. And I think it's important, like you said, we got to start doing the world and the church a service by saying, hey, we need Jesus just as much as y'all do.
Right.
We struggle just like y'all. So that's
real.
So go ahead, yeah.
All right. Let's get a little fun in here. Tell me something about yourself that I would find strange. If there's any, because
A lot of strange
I picked this
things.
because I thought it would be funny, but I don't know what I would tell you either. Oh, look what she know how to do with her eyebrows.
Oh, she got the rock going.
No, you can't.
I can just do the one. I
cannot.
can do
You
the one.
cannot.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, I don't even know if I got muscles
You
up
don't got
there.
nothing strange. You don't got nothing
Nothing
strange.
strange. I mean,
like,
things
that's
that when I used to want to be in the circus when I was
Oh,
little.
she sure did.
Oh my
Really?
God.
She used to demonstrate it when I first dated her. Bro, when I used to come around, she had no shame. I don't understand. Like, we're supposed to have this lovey-dovey. I don't want him to see me like this. When
Like the magic? Or like what
Listen,
part of it?
When I first came to her house the first day to pick up a book, she
No,
was
not
wearing
the first day. Oh, okay, that.
she was
okay.
wearing her Supergirl pajamas with like did you have a
I had a
bonnet?
scarf on my head.
I'm
yeah.
like, don't you want to impress
Well,
me?
for one, it was late at night. When you get that scarf tied on after a
But, like,
rap,
don't
I don't want to take it back
want to
off.
impress me.
No, I didn't. Here's your book for college so you can pick your
That's not
classes.
it.
I'm trying to help you
That's
out.
not it. I would come to the house and she would be showing me how she was like, look, I can put my leg. I'm like, I used to sit and say, do I really want
You don't know what I'm getting myself into?
You really said
No,
that?
it was fun. I was just like, she's a big kid.
You just say, wow, she's amazing.
No!
I just thought the circus was the most amazing job. Like, wow, they get to entertain people climbing on top of heads.
Look at you. And you
Yeah,
grew up.
and I can't. Matter of fact, the Soul Circus is coming. I'm going to those too.
Yeah, you gotta go with her.
Yeah,
I have to
he
go.
already went. He fell asleep. I'm
Hey,
gonna take
how you fall asleep at the
her.
circus?
Hello.
Circus.
He
Really?
fell asleep.
Y'all like the circus?
I mean, I don't dislike
And the
it.
ringmaster came up to him too to play a game with him. He did so bad.
Oh,
But anyway,
man.
what's your strength? What's the question?
I can't touch my toes.
That's not
Like
strange.
like you mean straight leg touching, like stretching?
That's not.
That's not strange?
No.
Okay, how about I make a lot of loud noises?
Oh, that's true.
I make a lot of loud noises.
Accidentally?
No, just in prayer. Like,
When
have you
I,
heard it yet? Have y'all heard it yet? Oh, okay.
when I yawn, I yawn like this. This is strange. This is embarrassing.
All his friends probably, if they watch it, they'll be like, yes, he does.
That's how I
That's
yawn.
a yawn?
Like he ain't got no sense.
Trying to clear your throat.
But look, I've been yawning like that forever. Ever since she's known me.
Yeah, so rude. I'm like, I know your mama raised you better than that. Because she's a
Anyway.
good woman.
See, that's why I
Raised you
wanted to
better.
skip me, but you had to force stuff
Yeah,
to
that
come
was
out
funny.
of me.
Okay. I don't think y'all need to
I don't know if I have any strange. Yeah, I mean, I like shoes. I mean, is that
No.
like sneakers?
No.
Come on, don't try
You
to
gotta
be
get more
cute.
detail.
I love dogs.
That
I mean,
is not
but-
strange.
Everybody in this building do.
What's strange though?
Y'all got no strange habits?
Okay, well, I don't think this is strange, but it
Okay,
just
we'll
gets
tell
me.
you.
Like watching movies, I'm a crier. Like with movies, like whether
So
it's
not in real life.
No,
not
he's-
really, not so much in real life, not so much in real life. I'm not like overly emotional or nothing like that. But movies, whether it's like
Last movie
Like the
made you
Lion
cry.
King?
no, not Lion King,
Lion
but like
Color purple.
Harriet made me cry. So like I don't know, maybe it's my heart, but God like pulls strings, and like when I see like dreams like Pursuit of Happiness or stuff
Yeah.
like that, I'll cry immediately. Or like in romantic movies, I'm a sucker for like romantic.
I wouldn't call that strange. That's interesting.
Yeah,
That's-
because I guess you wouldn't.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wouldn't-
you wouldn't
That's
get
dope.
that. Like
Have-
Notebook,
have
all that
kids, they'll
stuff.
have you crying, too.
I bet. I already know. Especially when they start playing football and doing. I'm gonna be balling. I'm gonna be one of those parents. Yeah.
That's all beautiful. How your strange thing beautiful?
Yeah.
I can't think of
You
nothing.
don't want to tell us. That's what it is.
I said the whole virgin thing already. So I mean, I guess if that's the same,
I
yeah.
already put myself
That's my
out there.
thing.
Right.
Okay. All right.
All right, let's we could take it to another level, and we'll actually allow you guys
Text each
to
other.
to
Okay,
break
who we
the
got?
ice
Who we
with
got?
heavier questions
To y'all,
So
right?
you actually
No, to each
Now, if
other.
we feel like
If
jumping
you want
in-
us to answer, we don't mind.
Yeah, we gotta put y'all on the hot seat too.
Okay.
All right. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. Okay. And I can appreciate this one. Well, not yet, but we'll see.
Okay.
After the honeymoon experience, you are underwhelmed and disappointed. Do you A, stay silent and be grateful, B, tell a brother in the Lord to give him tips and advice, or C, tell him it wasn't good and explain why?
You started off very strong.
Going hot. Hey, that's how we coming, right?
Well, I believe if I'm at the point of marriage, there's been trust built, there's good communication. there's certain things that have already been discussed and figured out before we even got to that point. So I feel like my husband and I should be able to communicate those type of concerns openly, honestly, and without any type of weirdness or uncomfortability. So I would openly express myself in a loving way, for sure, not in a way to demean him, because I don't want to hurt his feelings, but I don't want to suppress my needs and then it grow into a deeper issue later down the road. And I feel like oftentimes we can do that. We can just hold things in to try to protect someone's feelings. Yeah. And then it becomes more later, and then you have resentment and other issues. When we can just address it now. And there's things we can do.
Oh, so
we can figure something out. You can learn.
So like 5 minutes after you like, hey, we gotta talk. You going right into it. Hey, we gotta talk about some things. You gonna give it like a day or two?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it some time.
Okay.
Let me ask, because this is distinct for someone like you. Let's say this is your first time, or it's your first experience, your first season. How would you feel if your wife, and this is gonna lead to a second question, but how would you feel if your wife said, hey, yeah, that wasn't really
possible.
it.
It's not possible.
What do you mean?
It's not possible.
What do you mean it's not possible?
I'm not getting that response. Look, whether it's God adding a little more grace or what, but I'm not getting that response.
Like 5 minutes.
Look, I understand all look, I know it's going to take some time.
Right.
Yeah, but nah, we're not going out like that. And but like you said, if I'm being honest, getting to that point, we've had certain discussions. Like, obviously, I hadn't had that experience yet, but there's things I think you can still learn your wife's body and get the job, get the job done, but still learn and grow, right? Because I think she's, obviously my wife, she's going to understand, like, this is a process we're going to grow in, right? And I would not want to be in that with somebody that can't grow and learn each other's bodies and get to that level, right? Because I'm not going to be perfect, right? I'm going to grow and get better just as she will, right? Because it's the process of learning each other's bodies. And I know for women, so I heard, but I know for women, it's more of it's a physical thing, but it's also an emotional thing and spiritual thing as well. So I figure if I can have those things, right, and, learn with the physical as we go, I'm not gonna get that response. I'm not gonna get that response.
He's been doing his homework.
Y'all really holding this thing.
I got that question a good bit. So
Can I add one thing? I also feel that, yes, even if it may be an issue, also that would not be something that would make me just be like, I can't stay with him.
Yeah.
Because if I'm 70 years old, I might not be able to still, we might not be doing it. So it's like,
I will.
I need to, hey, I waited 30 years. I need an extra 30 on it. Okay, yeah.
But it's like, if there's ever a point, like if something happens and my husband is like paralyzed or something, like certain things happen, I want to have a connection that's so deep, that's deeper than the physical, where I want to be able to just talk to you, and it just brings me joy. The conversation, just being around you.
Because that's intimacy. Intimacy is more than just the physical aspect.
And to me, you see, like,
Hey!
Come on.
Some bars, huh?
I'm going to ask a question on top of the question that I asked you. So, your version. I've had a conversation with another man who hadn't had sex before waiting for marriage. He has a standard. He will never be or marry a woman who's not a virgin. Do you
I get
feel
that question
like,
a lot too.
Yeah. I want to ask that to you. Do you have that standard? And
No.
Why not?
Not at all. One, I understand we're all human beings. I can't necessarily hold it against somebody based on their journey with God, right? Because it could happen at 30. It could happen at however you come to God. That's your story, right? And I can't hold you against you because you didn't grow up in the church and, was pure and this and that, right? And then we all have issues, right? So for me, it's never been a requirement to be like, hey, she got to be a virgin, right? That's never been an issue. God is calling me, which he's been teaching me lately, to love her like I love you, right? So if I'm expecting her to be this perfect woman, how is that going to help me love her like Jesus loves me? It's not. You're not going to grow in love at all, right? So for me, that's never been a requirement. As long as you're willing to walk with me from that point on, right? Then I'm cool with it. Now with that being said,
Come on now.
I don't necessarily need you to, do nothing, have it like a crazy number or anything like that. You know what I mean? That's that.
understand.
No, but
that,
you answered
right,
that so beautifully.
right.
That was really, really great. And I love that you said, because I want to be able to love her like he loves me.
Yeah.
And that perspective, I don't think, it's like, man, because the person who said I would never be with a woman who's not a virgin, he's like, well, if I endured and waited this long, then why wouldn't I want someone who had that same self-control? Why can't I have someone who, and there's also someone that said, I'm pure in this way, and so I don't want a woman who's coming with her impurities and her baggage and all the men.
So you want a perfect woman, and that don't make sense because you're not perfect. And I'm gonna be the first one to say this, right? I'm not pure. I'm a virgin, but I'm not pure. I don't have this. I've never not had sexual experiences in my life, right? Because people, a lot of times when people say I'm a virgin, I just haven't done anything my whole life. No, I'm a human being. You know, I've made mistakes. I put myself in bad situations, right? So I never want to come off as like, I'm squeaky clean. No, that's not the case at all. You know,
Well, you are pure by him.
oh, facts. No doubt.
But I
throw that in there.
I love what you just said.
Right. Yeah.
That's, man, like, I love that. How old are you?
28.
God just is maturing his people right now.
Yeah.
Like, the stuff that I'm hearing now, you guys are giving me so much hope.
Right.
I did not know that God put so much in young people like this.
Most
Like,
definitely.
I was losing hope.
I will say this, it's not, that's why we have to make sure we like really are outspoken and we really walk in this, because it's not a common thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like I even tell a lot of my athletes that I coach and train, like, bro, you can really do it this way. You know what I mean? Because they don't see it. Right? They see the guys on NFL and TV getting all the women and the girls in the club. And it's like, it's not attractive to say, oh, I can live this way and still look good and have the car and have
Have you
the
ever
success.
inspired any man to say, you know what, I'm thinking about that wrong?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of, so I coached at Zachary High School, my alma mater, and I had a lot of kids I was training since their freshman year. They're in college now. And a lot of them, we have conversations now that they're in college and they're like, bro, how do you do it? Like, how do you, like, and they're really like diving into it now, right? So just being that example, I think really exposes them, you know, just like hanging with millionaires, right? Exposes you to be like, oh, I can really do it this way. Well, hanging with men that look the part, that can still, you know, live their lives according to God's word and be obedient with it. It's like, bro, you got the blueprint. Okay, we can do this. And me, I'm there walking it through, right?
That's beautiful. I'm excited. All right. We only put this one question.
that was one.
It's her turn to ask, because if you asked about 3 questions.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
It was good. People need to hear
Yeah,
that.
they did.
All right, what we got?
She holding hers up like
She about to come, she about to come
She
with it.
about to win.
I'm ready.
All right. Do you have a hard time with forgiveness? Why or why not?
If I'm being honest, and sorry, y'all.
True.
That's an easy one. Like, no.
Oh.
Like, not at all. I don't think, maybe God has sheltered me from some things, but kind of like what I said a couple minutes ago, right? Loving my woman, loving my wife, loving people as God loves me, right? That's how I always try to look at it. Now, are things challenging in a moment? Yes. But to be honest, I've had very few experiences of people like, you know, stabbing you in the back or people just, you know, slandering this or women cheating. I've never had that experience or any of that, right? Okay. So my forgiveness is just more so,
Based
I don't want to say
experiences?
Yeah, I think so. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or bad thing, but
I do believe, you know, God will shelter people from certain things.
Yeah.
So I guess your answer would be you haven't went through anything that was unforgivable.
Right. Well, but I would say this. You could also notice patterns. Because little things, like somebody could have just easily like, well, you didn't give me this or you didn't pay me.
That's true.
You know,
Character.
you train people like, you didn't pay me. Like,
oh yeah, most definitely. And then I'm an analytical thinker. So like once you kind of showing me a certain pattern, I don't know if I just don't have expectations of expecting that from people, but like I know where you are, right? And I don't expect everybody to kind of give me or be on that certain level, right? Yeah. So if somebody would do something, I'd be like, all right, well,
I see you.
Like I see you, right? And I'm not, you know, going to go out my way to backstab you or no, I got too much on my plate and God's trying to do too much for me to be concerned with somebody that's, you know, not, hey, bro, it's good. Go your way. and
Okay.
you know, go on to the next
That's
thing.
nice.
I like that. Yeah. Okay. You up, bro?
Okay.
Y'all really going through these questions.
Hey, there's some good questions.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
go.
Man, amen. Right?
Can a relationship? I'm gonna change it just a little bit.
Okay.
Can you, in a relationship, when you're in a relationship, work after the other person has created infidelity? Why or why not? And then, hold on, let's
Come on.
add some sauce on it. Add some sauce.
Ice cream with cream.
If it's one thing, and do it both. If it's strictly physical, or if it's an emotional cheating, right? Like if somebody's heart they're getting versus just them having a physical experience with them.
How real should I be?
We here. Let's get real.
So I've been on both ends. I've been the cheater and I've been cheated on.
Okay.
And obviously I learned enough from that. When someone cheats emotionally, it's so much deeper than the physical. And I feel that will hurt me more and it will be harder to forgive. I feel like if someone cheats physically, it's gonna hurt. It's like, did you come and confess? Were you honest about what you did? Did you let me know or did I find out? I feel like the dynamics of it plays a part into how my heart will deal with it. I do think if it was physical or emotional, it's still gonna hurt. It's just the way and the depth of the hurt for me. But at this point in my life, I'm not dealing with either because I have options.
Hey, talk
I
your
don't
stuff.
have to deal with that.
Right.
And I feel that any person that does that at this point, there's deeper issues. Lack of discipline, lack of self-control. Those are character issues that you need to deal with alone and with God that I don't plan to be a part of. I can love you from afar. We can be friends, but we're not, it's not time for us to be in a relationship.
Now, is that in a marriage or outside? Like,
Oh, we talking about in a marriage?
yeah, we talking about in a marriage. Because now,
breathing
biblically,
different
it's,
Yeah,
but
And I will say, if it's in a marriage, I do think at that point I would have a little bit more grace. I would have to, and it would be a God.
you're gonna have to.
You're gonna have to come down, and you're gonna have to give me the strength to make it through this. And I don't know if you ever seen the movie The War Room.
Why do you say that when Scripture? Because these are two opposing thoughts.
Yep.
Some people are going to be like, "Hey, Scripture gives me an out on this," but you said, "I want God to give me grace." Why did you take that mind route instead of?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the out that Scripture says, "Hey, I'm free to go."
Right. One, I don't take that type of commitment lightly at all. If I committed, and if I say for better, for worse, what if for worse is infidelity? And I committed to that, and I gave you my word under God that I'm going to stick with you. Now, if it becomes repeated, then that changes the dynamics for me. But if it's like a one-time thing, and if he is a believer, which my husband should be, if he's a believer, then I feel like, okay, that's something that we can work through. God can help us through this. And it's a deeper reason. Like, are you not satisfied? Are you stressed? Like, what caused you to do it? I want to understand the why, because I have been on that other side and I know what my why was and what led to that. It was deeper than just a physical, like wanting to get that craving. So that will be why I would stay committed in my marriage. Now, if it becomes habitual, then you have an addiction. You have a problem that needs to be sought after. And that is, I don't believe that God would want me to stay in a marriage like that. Because now it's not just a me and you thing. You're also disobeying God. You're also committing adultery. Like, this is deeper than just a me and you relationship. It's like you need to work on your relationship with God. You need to work on your relationship with yourself because there's something that's going on with you.
That's good. Thank you. What about that question just posed right back to you?
Yeah, I get that a lot, but it kind of goes to what I said earlier, right? If my job, if God literally told me, that's what he told me, when you get married, love her like I love you. We cheat on God every day, right? And yet he's still there, open arms. Not that there's not accountability and not consequences, but he's there, open arms, saying, I still love you. I still want to be, after we've chosen other idols and other people and other this.
So
he's
as a
still
man,
Hosea.
you said Hosea.
That's what I was just about to say. Hosea, that is literally what it is. And how God said it was basically a representation of God's relationship with Israel, right? And how Israel was still going to idols and all that stuff. And God's like, come back. And God is still loving. God is still pursuing. And that's what he does with us. And the same way with Hosea and the prostitute, with having like, you gonna marry her, and she gonna keep going out here and cheating, and you gonna stay. And it's like when God tells us to do that. If God told me like, yeah, you're gonna stay, then that would change things, right?
Now it's a little different, but I think it's harder for us, right? Because
For men.
to a certain extent, right? Because women, y'all are very emotional creatures. Not a bad thing, but y'all are emotional people, right? So if y'all get to the point where y'all are having a physical relationship with somebody, chances are they got your heart too, right? So it's like a double thing because you don't just, women don't, I mean, it is what it is. They don't just willingly, usually, right? They don't willingly give that away. So there's emotional connection. So there's something I'm not doing. There's something that you're lacking. Like the depth of it. It's going to take some time to get through it, right? But God's still calling me to say, hey, I'm there and I'm loving this woman.
So you believe that you can say, but you, even though you know it will hurt, you think you could say, God, help me in this.
I know I could.
Even if it's repeated.
I know I could. There's gonna be some consequences. There's gonna be some consequences, right? Hey, for real. There's gonna be a lot of consequences, right? But yeah, like especially I'm gonna say this, and for anybody that's ever gone through this, the other person, you gotta see them distraught, like remorse, like it can't just be like, oh, I messed up, forgive me, come on, like no, it gotta be like, bro, I got a problem. We got to fix it, like literally kind of pouring out and saying, God, I need you to work on me. Then I can see that and be like, okay, we can make some adjustments, but I can love you through this, right? Versus just saying somebody doing it and being like, deuces. Because then I can't make you stay, right? If you don't want to, you got to do your thing. But I think I could through the Holy Spirit, right? Only through the Holy Spirit, right? Like it says, Jesus says it. With man, it's impossible. With me, all things are possible. And I even believe that is possible. That's possible, right? Because think about it. What looks more like Christ? Somebody choosing to out, oh, you cheated? Okay, I'm out. That's a wrap. And biblically, I got to out. Or, you cheated, but I'm going to still dive in and I'm going to still love you even more. What looks more like Christ?
It requires dying
to self.
And honestly, this for all the single people out there, especially women, if you haven't found a man, if you're questioning if a man is for you or not, if he hasn't learned how to die to himself, I don't think he's going to be a good husband. Like, because you have to train yourself how to do that, right? You have to, whether it's fasting, whether it's waking up at 6 a.m., going to work out, whether it's doing a job you don't necessarily want to do, whether it's serving your kids or serving your wife when you don't feel like it. It don't matter what your feelings are. It matters what you're committed to.
Yeah.
So
you
gotta
die in discipline.
You gotta be able to do it.
The root of the word discipline and die.
I like that.
It comes from the same thing.
That makes
it's
sense.
Like, that's why it goes together.
Right.
And in the middle of discipline is I. You gotta DIE, right?
Yeah.
You gotta die to yourself.
That's like the third one,
Huh? I love that, and I love what you said. If a man is unwilling to be disciplined or unwilling to die, he's not fit to lead as a husband.
At least not yet.
No,
He might grow into that.
God can prepare him.
Right.
God can shape his mind. But that's a good, like, people are like, what do I look for in a husband? Is he willing to die?
Right.
Is he willing to die? Is he willing? Because obedience, even before you got to die before you obey. Like God,
because it's easy to be obedient when God's like, "Hey, I got this $1 million job. It's perfect. Okay, bet God." But when God says, "Hey, I need you to do this," exactly.
And speaking of Abraham, that's what a lot of times we want the why. When God tells us to do something, we want the why. And sometimes God like, I want your obedience first, and then I'll give you the why after. And that's
maybe
why
10 years later.
Yeah, it may be 10 years later. So obeying God first,
right?
And then
because if God is Lord, if He's the King of the universe, if we're in the kingdom, there's no Lord, no. That's an oxymoron. It doesn't work, right? If you're Lord, it's always yes. Now, you might not like it, but it's always yes. You can't tell the Lord, creator, the ruler of everything, no.
Right.
It just doesn't work, right? And in us being in the kingdom of God, we submit to the king. So if we being honest, if the king say it, it goes.
Listen to the prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Meaning his will is done in heaven always. Why? Because it's kingdom, meaning in heaven, it's where the king has dominion,
Yes.
meaning everything in heaven is in submission to the king. Meaning when we say, God, I invite your kingdom, even in my life, it means that I'm making my life fully submitted to your kingship,
Right.
to your authority. That means I can't reserve a no in me.
Right.
Like it's saying, God, the way it is in heaven and earth adore you, the angels bow before you, God, my body says yes.
Yeah.
My mind says yes. I allow your kingdom to reign so that your will is done the way it is in heaven. That's a prayer that says, nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done. And it makes me feel like, man, when we like people say, I want to get married. Yeah, you can get married, but will you stay married? And God is calling you to obedience daily.
Right.
Amen.
Right. And to take it even another level, right? He gives us those characteristics on earth because we have that dominion, right? So how
Sure does.
he lets us be kings and queens
Yeah.
on this earth, right? So we have that power. That power that he's given in heaven, he's given us the earth to rule and domain. Now, we lost it with the fall and everything, but Jesus got it back.
Got it
In
back.
Christ.
So if you're starting to move and operate and live as a kingdom, you're literally taking the precepts, all the laws, the ordinances from the kingdom in heaven down to this earth. And you're saying, this is how I'm operating. So I don't have to, just because society or whatever is accepting things, I don't have to accept that, right? Because I'm kingdom, right? He gives me authority. So what I say, being with God's will, right? Just as Jesus said, let your will be done. It's different type of thinking.
Like you
you
said
know?
about what you say, it goes back to the heart, right?
Yep.
In the Bible, God talks about like everything flows from your heart in Psalms 23. And I think it comes down to heart posture.
Yes.
And there's two parts of heart posture. There's position and condition. So where you place your heart, right? God says it's your treasure lies where your
Yes.
heart lies,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
So when you think about treasure is buried, it's protected, it's locked away, right? So that's something you want to protect. Guard your heart above all things, right? So I think, especially as women and even as men, protecting your heart in a way of boundaries aren't just to keep things out, but certain keep things
Yes.
in as well. So protecting your heart as far as the position, and then the condition of your heart. When you eat bad things, right, you can get high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and the physical and the spiritual is the same thing. What are you putting in yourself? What are you feeding your heart, right? If everything comes out of your heart, what's coming out of your mouth is a reflection of
Yeah.
that, right?
Yes.
So you got to be aware of that. And in the Bible, God compares the heart to soil. So think about soil. If soil isn't good soil, even if you put in seeds in it, nothing's gonna grow.
Right,
Nothing's
right.
gonna develop. So you can be trying to put good seeds, but if your heart, that soil, and that's why God says, my son or daughter, give me your heart, and I will give you a new one. He doesn't want to fix it up, patch it up. He wants to replace it with a
amen.
fully new one. So I feel like everything stems from the heart. And when you get your heart posture right, that's when I feel like you start to see true change. Then you start to desire things that God wants for you. So it's not this back and forth tug of war of what the flesh wants, what God wants. It's maybe moments, but it's more so, I don't even want this. I don't even desire to have sex. I don't even want these things because I want God so much. And I struggled with sex, obviously, as I talked about before. And a friend told me, it's because you're focusing so much on not having sex and not enough on focusing on God. And that changed everything for me.
Yeah.
Once my mind wasn't focused on not doing something instead of just focusing on God.
Because even by not focusing on it, you're kind
You're
of focusing
focusing on it. Exactly. Yes.
Y'all, I'm full today. Amen. Like, all right, we're gonna let you guys ask one more. Y'all be teaching. One more.
I'm not looking.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on you.
I feel like this answer.
Give me a hard one
Yes.
too.
Yeah,
Give me
tough one.
Yeah.
How strongly do you feel about men having to be the breadwinner in the home? And can his wife assume that role?
She went there. No.
That's the topic of the century right now.
When I tell you, God has just been recently been working on me with this.
Where were you before and where are you now?
So we might as well get into it. And this is how I know it's
Let me get
it's
comfortable.
him.
Let me get
So for me, based on my experiences, based on how I grew up, my father, his friends, a lot of people, they're very successful lawyers and very successful, right? And they have that dynamic to where they're the breadwinners, wives at home taking care of the kids, right? And a lot of times being in those environments, I saw the great of it, but I also saw the bad of it, right? And sometimes they weren't always on the same page financially, right? And sometimes in my thinking, I'm just like, okay, so how do I make this better, right? So I'm thinking, well, it's the term 50-50, right? But I don't mean it as like most people like say it. But the term 50-50, I'm thinking, okay, I bring this, she bring this. We get this game plan, we build together, we grow together, we invest this, and we do all these things, right? So I'm thinking, hey, a family can grow so much better. Bless you.
Thank you. No, I'm good.
Okay.
A family can grow so much better when there's both people putting their all into it, right?
Okay.
Now, that makes sense logically, right? And financially.
Yeah.
I think that works. But that's not kingdom, right? What God has been teaching me, kingdom is, it is your responsibility as the man to provide financially, right? And for me, it came from, I had to really do some dig deep because it came from a lack of trust in God, right? I was like, okay, God, I need her to be doing this because deep down, I'm like, God, I don't know if you can provide like this, like on this level in this type of lifestyle, right? Because I want to have a lot of kids and do this and do a bunch of different things. So when I really shaved that down, it was like, no, trust me that I'm going to provide for you to provide for your family, right? And that's financially. Now, I love women that are bosses that go out and kill it and all this stuff. So you change your mindset of, okay, I take the burden off of her to say, I got to provide for the family, right? Now, whatever she makes is just adding to it, right? So now we can invest and buy this house or do this or do this. But she doesn't have to worry about, she's not, no offense. She's not built to necessarily carry that weight because that's how it wasn't designed, right? Can she? Yes, but especially black women. Y'all have shown that y'all can. But why would you put that weight on your wife when you built to carry that, right? So I've learned, cool, I'm going to carry this. This is the calling I'm going to stand on. And whatever she brings to the table, we're going to build with that, right? Now, I also understand seasonal, right? Yeah. Maybe the law thing's not taking off and her business is booming. Yeah. I could take her back and say, I'm more than comfortable and secure to say, baby, you go out and kill it, right? And then I'll watch the kids or do whatever it can. Because at the end of the day, we a team. Yeah. And I want the family to succeed. So if that means me taking the back seat and you thriving and flourishing, baby, I shine better when you shine. So we good, right? We good either way. So
you don't have an issue with the woman doing well and succeeding.
No,
the issue
do it, please.
You had like,
I'm attracted to that, right? I'm attracted to it.
You feel like God worked on your heart in the area of you had this kind of demand that a woman needs to be operating this way, to contribute this way, because it was only fair. That was the only way it could work in a healthy way.
It wasn't necessary. It was fair. It's just like I feel like we can grow and create this lifestyle a lot quicker and easier, right? Because what happens if something happens to me, right? What happens if the law or the art or whatever is just, and she's just like, oh, well, you're supposed to be doing it. And then, you know what I mean? And that's why you see a lot of men depressed and distraught and then it's a power trip for men nowadays, right? Because it's like, oh, I make all this money. You just got to listen to me, obey and do whatever I say because I hold all the power. I don't necessarily look at it like that, right? So I just think I thought, right, it was just more feasible to kind of get to that goal, right? But now I understand it even works in my benefit when my woman can bring in 150, 200, whatever, and then I'm still paying for everything to where it's like, oh, we set, right? As long as we're on the same page mentally and financially, man, you can't beat that.
I love that. What are your thoughts on what he shared and your thoughts as an
You pay the bills, I got the investments and the vacation.
Hey.
It works out. But I have two parts. One, when you talk about 50-50, it's 100 and 100. Especially when you're Christian, you need to be whole. So a whole man, a whole woman. And the way my 100% is set up, it's a whole pie chart, right? Because I'm a visual person. So I may have different pieces, and you may have larger percent in one area. I may have a smaller percent in that area, and I may be larger in one area. You may be smaller, but we still come with 100. So we're both contributing equally in that sense of we're both bringing 100% to the table of ourselves. When it comes to the financial part specifically, I grew up in a very traditional household. The man was the breadwinner. The woman had the option to work. Those women still work though. They had their money. We was at Neiman Marcus, like, you know, like nice things. And they made sure, like, if it was any time where the man didn't have, it's like, oh, don't worry about it. I got it. You
Right.
know, it's like we got that cushion for you. So we're never going to be without. We're
Right.
never not going to be good. But I believe it is a comforting space when you know your man got you, when you know your man can
safe
take
place,
care of you.
right.
It's
Yeah.
a safe place. When you know that
Soft
if something
life.
did happen to me, he can keep it going.
Yeah.
That because we hold on so much stress, especially when we become mothers, we're like, oh my God, I need to make sure my baby's got all these
Yeah.
things, and you're worried about it. Like, Dad, they worry, but like moms worry in a different aspect when it comes to the kids. So we're like, we want to make sure they have all these things, and we're always overthinking. And when you take that weight off me, where I don't have to worry about those
Now
things.
you can just be.
Now I can be more
Exactly.
feminine. I can be that woman that you really want me to be because I'm not as stressed out. And now it's like, you got dinner every night, like you got all these things doing,
Right.
and you're giving me a place to thrive also in my businesses where I can be successful. You're gonna have a happy wife.
Right.
Come
Yeah.
on. I'm gonna play
I agree.
this video. I'm gonna act like I'm playing a video.
All right.
I'm gonna play this video by it was actually what's his name? Pastor Miles Monroe. Okay, I'm gonna play this video by Pastor Miles.
Oh, that's
Monroe.
all I've been studying for.
You
like,
check him out.
What?
Okay.
That's
Great.
So it was
goat.
going crazy on my page, and basically this is what he said.
no woman.
Okay,
What's that?
so
I already know.
no woman wants to have to go to work
Yep.
Yes.
every day. How do you feel about that? Because here's the thing. She was working all the way up until 2016. And she took off of work because, we have our third child. We're on our fourth child? Oh,
That's
we're
yours,
on our
2016.
fourth child in 2016. And I was just like, we can't do this. I'm traveling all the time.
Yeah.
She didn't want to stop working, and to be honest, I like the extra cushion of her having that consistency and the what you get the healthcare and all that stuff.
Oh, the benefits.
The benefits.
I had
Because
amazing-
Being an entrepreneur.
Right.
I know.
But I got into holistic care just because of them benefits.
Oh,
ain't
yeah.
there.
Exactly.
I can hear you sick. Oh, I got something for that.
All types of herbs now. So, do you resonate with what he's saying? No woman wants to have to go to work.
Well, the key word is have to. Have to. I did enjoy working, but I remember I used to say to myself, I wish I could just work Monday,
Yeah.
Wednesday,
Yeah.
and maybe some Fridays. So I think the key word is have to.
Yeah, and I think it's that I like what she said. To know that your husband has the desire and has the capacity to say, look, I want to hold this family down. And I think that's what it's really about. It's not about whether you're bringing in more for the investments or you're bringing in more. It's about, hey, look, I'm willing to carry the load and I'm built for it. I'm okay to have to go to work
Right.
because that's what I'm going to do for my kids. That's what I'm
Exactly.
going to do. But to put
Dying
the
to yourself.
have to, that's the dying to
Yes.
myself. And men, just like Jesus, like, look, I died for you while you were yet in your sin. And so for us, it's a joy to have to carry that burden for our family. It pleases us to make sure that we're able to look out for our family. And we don't want, and that's why I'm grateful God touched your heart to say, I don't want to put it on my wife to say, no, you have to do this so that this could happen. And I love that you touched on fear because I think that's what's keeping men and women from saying, okay, I need my man to have this
Right,
and
right,
that,
right.
and he needs to come to the table with this. Why? Because of fear.
You don't trust
Because
God.
I don't trust that if you don't have everything lined up and it looks like this in a row, I don't believe that God is going to allow us to succeed.
Right.
I don't believe that we'll be able to live the life that I desire to live.
Yeah.
In the same way, if we don't have it like this, if it's not 50-50, then I don't believe that we're going to be able to take trips.
Right.
I don't believe that we're going to be able to provide for our family. So the real root of these ideas that we're trying to create, these rules, well, because I got multiple degrees and because I make six figures and they got to do this and they got to come to the table with this, like God will just destroy that table.
Right.
And both of y'all going to be on disability now.
Right.
Right.
Like you got to be willing, and I always say this, like for men that are out there that feel that pressure that says, man, I can't even approach a woman because I haven't reached seven figures or I haven't did this or I haven't did that. Here's the thing. God is capital P provider, and God is calling you to be steward. Everything that you have is because God has given it.
Yes.
And so you're lowercase p provider. But when I talk to my kids, listen, I have it because God gives it. Don't look at me
And you,
like
like
I'm
you
God.
said,
I'm
you're not
greater
even
than
the owner.
God.
I'm not even the owner
I'm
of
a
this,
manager.
right? Whether it's
Right.
the job, the house, the car, my wife, my kids, I don't own nothing. God is just entrusting me to be a good steward over it, to cultivate it, right? And I think you have to have that mindset because it takes the pressure off of you and it's on to him. But here's the trick. In order to get that, you got to be righteous and you got to seek the kingdom, right? Then all these things, right? But if you don't do those things and you expecting, oh God, you're not showing up, you're not even living righteous. You're not even listening to me. You're not even following and seeking me, right? So it's like, it's a twofold thing, right? And my thing with the 50-50, like, it just was, I didn't want to never be one of those guys that just go out and work 24/7, come home grumpy, don't have time for the kids, you missing the recitals. I want to be present in all my kids. Hey, this world not raising my kids, right? So I need to be there, right? And like you said, when you allow your woman to take all that pressure off, but still have that cushion, however she wants to, now, okay, cool, I'm not going to go to work today. We're going to go, our kids got a football game. That's all we're going to do today, right? Because now they can see me present, not just saying, oh, dad was just out working. All I saw my whole life, he was just working. And he was a great provider, but I never saw him be a good husband to my mom. I never saw him be a present dad in my life. I just saw him as a provider.
Bro, God shook me. 2019. I always tell you the story about my babies. That was the year that they had to go back to LA because I was working so much. I was on 2 tours and I was doing all these bookings, and they had to go back to LA for about 3 or 4 months because I couldn't even be there to help them. And so when I kind of got to settle down with the kids, I thought they'd be excited because I made so much money that year. It was about to be crazy for them. They was about to go everywhere. They was about to get everything. And my daughter said, Daddy, my oldest daughter, she said, Daddy, I love that you have a job, but I wish it wasn't this one. And I was just like, man, I thought that y'all don't appreciate what I'm doing. And then my other daughters, I was talking to my 2 younger girls, and I was like, well, if daddy don't work, then y'all not going to be able to eat. And then my baby girl said, well, I don't want to eat. And I was just like, okay, I got to rethink some stuff. And I was just like, I don't think I'm going to subject myself to touring like this again. I'm not going to put myself in a position where I have to be outside of the home. I had my wife and us as a family just talk to the kids about their favorite moments with me. I thought it was when we went to Disneyland 4 times. Thought when we traveled and went out of state. You know what they said? When you got the water guns from where you get it from? I said, Dollar Tree. And you got the water hose and you spray on us? I said, what? That's your favorite moments with daddy? And I'm like, okay, I got to change things up. So even, I think about that year and I'm just like, the racks, though, the racks. And I'm thinking, if you ask me, if anybody asks me, what are you doing it for? I'm doing it for the family. But I was doing it at the expense of my family. And so I was positioning myself out of their lives in a way that I wasn't even sowing the right seed that would turn around and having them seeing daddy was a good and present father. And I didn't realize, this is the last thing I'm going to say, I didn't realize how my absence was affecting my children. Remember Nazir that day that I came back and he was having that tantrum?
Oh, yeah.
He was having first of all, he was having tantrums. And I didn't realize it might have been just tied to
you not being there.
My absence. And so one day I came home, he was going berserk.
2 years old.
2 years old. Going berserk. And it was frustrating me because I don't like kids being disrespectful. And I actually don't like tantrums at all. And I was like, you need to talk to me. He was like, he was just like, I was like, he's just fighting with his words. I grabbed him by his arms. I sat him on the stairs. I was like, talk English because you could talk. Tell me what you're saying. I was like, what? Say it, say it. He said, kiss me. I was like, what am I doing? Like, I can't even understand the cry of my kids. My absence has created what I thought was this comfort level, was pleasure and beauty. I was becoming what I never wanted to be. And so I'm just like, okay, it's time.
And imagine, and this is why we got to do our work to heal and stuff, because imagine if that would have lasted until they're 17. And now they've created that's part of who they are now. And then now you're sitting there saying, oh, why are you trying to talk? But now they going to drugs, or now they going to women, or they doing all these things because why? You wasn't present in the man, the seeds. And that's why we have to, men especially, we have to make sure we are present in our children's lives, right? And our wife, if we're being honest, right? We have to be there because the enemy knows, whether through jail, whether it's through work, whatever, if I can take the man out the picture, right? Now the kids are susceptible. And look, the wife can hold it down for only so long, right? Because you know, they're going to come after her too, right? He's going to come after all of them. But if I can take the man, right, and that covering off it because he's work or because he's in jail or whatever the case may be, I got him.
The serpent went to Eve, not Adam.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. Man.
Yeah.
And then it goes into like how then they view relationships as a daughter or even as a son, how they view relationships because of your your absence. It's like, oh well, if a man isn't doing this or he's not, it's okay. Like they lowered their expectations then.
And they get in relationships with bad men that are abusing them, and they thinking like this the standard, and it's like, no.
We set that
right, and then now the fathers get mad because they like, man, why are you talking to this bum? And why are you? And it's like you wasn't there. Like you didn't show me what to look. The dying to yourself. You didn't show me these things that I need to be looking for in men. All I knew was, okay, he went out, he was a provider, and that's it. I didn't see you loving on mom. I didn't see you taking her on dates. I didn't see you, doing all these things to be like, I want a man like my dad is to my mom. But if you're not present, how can they see that,
I'm changed. I'm restored. I'm restored. We didn't even get through all of these questions.
We didn't need to.
We didn't have to. I believe this conversation brought healing to some homes. I believe people are going to be changed and see things differently now. I want to say thank you to you guys. We went over our time, but I
it's cool.
I could sit here for more. You guys really, really brought it. I didn't know that, like, just our chemistry.
Yeah, it's very amazing what God put together, because I want to talk to both of y'all separately still. Like, we are definitely keeping in contact.
Yeah.
I was truly blessed.
Yeah, so much life. So what we're going to do right now is me and him are going to step away from the table.
All right.
She's going to ask you a few questions. I'm going to pull up those questions.
No.
You're not going to hear what her answers are, but she's going to be, just asking some questions about you. And,
thank you.
And we're going to do the same once
we're done.
So I'm going to have to watch it on YouTube.
Armani. We just finished a lovely conversation with you and Chris, and you guys are both so amazing. But we got to stick to what we came here for. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate his maturity for a relationship?
I would definitely give him a 10.
Okay, 10.
He's ready, for
10.
sure.
All right. How would you rate him in being easy to talk to?
I would give him a 9.5.
Okay, 9.5. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay.
The 9.5 is only because I feel that he held back a little bit with like transparency with something.
Okay.
I felt like maybe
he
it was
tell
a little
it
bit
all.
more.
Yeah. I'm like that too. I'll tell you a little bit of my business, but I ain't gonna tell you all my business. Okay. How would you rate his readiness for a relationship?
He seems very ready. I'll give him a 10.
Okay. 10, 9.5. What piece of advice would you give him if he was about to enter into a relationship?
I would tell him to stay steadfast on the things that he's doing in his life. Don't compromise himself.
Yeah.
To stay true to who he is and who God has called him to be.
Yeah, because he's very secure in himself and his faith and his abstinence. So I think that's a beautiful thing. But we know how to, try to sneak up in there.
Yes.
Hold it. All right.
Don't get distracted.
Right. Stay on that narrow road. Last question. Is he someone you would recommend for a friend?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I can feel that. You guys both I don't know if it's the matchmaker in me, but that's not what we're here for. So thank you.
My brother, that conversation was lit, bro. Man. You dropped so many gems. I was telling you when we were walking out there, man. I was about to cry a few moments.
Hey, the people need it, man.
I said it was rubbing off because you said that you cried during movies. I cried during conversations.
Yeah.
Now, thank you. Bro.
Okay.
So Armani, she was just a gem, and she dropped so many gems. But I want to kind of dig into who she is a little bit with this 10-point scale.
Okay.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, being 1 being needs a lot of work, 10 being excellent, how would you rate her emotional maturity? I know you don't know everything about her, but just based on
just from a couple hours.
Yeah.
That's hard. Okay. Honestly, from everything she said and how she delivered the message, and then just the grace she was saying she gives and stuff like that, she's like 9 to 10. From what I saw, man, she's definitely very mature emotionally to be able to be a woman, but also a partner and stuff like that. Most definitely.
She was navigating.
She really
tough conversations.
Easy, and it made it look easy too.
Real talk. I'm like, and she said she just came to the faith a few years ago. I'm like, yeah, I need to see your paperwork.
Right.
All right. So, how would you rate her ease? Or okay, I'm gonna say that again. How would you rate her in being easy to talk to on a scale of 1 to 10?
Probably the same, 9 to 10. She was very open. She was very transparent. Even when she got to like those deep things of her, she was still kind of open with it. A lot of times, maybe it's the attorney in me, but a lot of times you can kind of tell if somebody's, I don't want to say holding things back, but just not comfortable, right? And she seemed very comfortable, very open. And then I would say bold, kind of like in terms of like how she relayed her messages. Not timid, not like hesitant. So I would say around 9 to 10 as well.
Yeah. I thought she was really easy to talk to as well, and I love the transparency like we talked about. Both of you guys are really transparent.
That's the only way to be, man.
Well, that's not how everybody thinks.
No, you're right.
So it's refreshing to see you guys are bold about your faith, but yet transparent and not holding nothing back, because it makes the other people. Anybody that comes into a conversation with someone like you will feel like, well, I could be authentic as well. Right. So I love that. How would you rate her readiness for a relationship? I know it's only a short time, but
right. I mean, for 2 hours and everything I know, she seems like she's very emotionally ready. She seems like she's mentally ready. From what she told me, she got a lot going on, right? Like even finances and everything like that, and what she's doing. So, but she still seems like she's at a good headspace. So I would say between like 8 and 9. She didn't give me the vibe of like, oh, I'm looking to get married. I'm ready to get married right now, X, Y, and Z. But she seems like she's done the work. Yes. Let me say that. She looks like she's done the work to be ready for, relationship or marriage or anything like that.
That's good. Okay. And what piece of advice would you give her, if any, if she was about to enter a relationship? It could be general, but maybe specifically for her. Maybe even the fact that she has a child, or the fact that she came into faith, not too long ago. What would you?
A couple things, right? From the child aspect, man, the man of God that God wants to pair you with or wants to bring your way, he's going to be okay with that, right? He's going to give you grace. He's going to pursue you. He's going to make you feel like you're the most amazing woman in the world, right? So never settle if a guy is not giving you that energy.
Wow.
But 2, be open, be transparent, right? Me, I love, and I know a lot of times our bad experiences can kind of jade us and make us not want to jump off that cliff. I just encourage you, continue to jump off the cliff, right? Continue to jump off that cliff of love. But also, like we talked about in the session, make sure this man, you vetted him, right? And vetted him not only through your eyes, but vetted him through the spirit, right? To see, is he a man that can die to himself? Is he selfless? Can he lead in biblical love? Can he teach and cultivate the spirit in you, right? Because a lot of times, a guy looks good on paper, but he can't really pour into you. He can't pull nothing out of you. You can't speak life into you, right? So when you find all that, and it makes you attractive too, right, for you. But when you find all that, dive in. Dive in, because why wait? Right? If God has blessed you with that and you've done your work and prepared and you vetted him the right way, bro, dive in. Right? Dive in.
That wasn't just for her. I felt like somebody got to receive that.
Most definitely.
Jump off the cliff. That's good. That's basically take a leap of faith, a step of faith.
That's exactly what it is. I love that. Right? And that's, if we're being honest, that's what love is, right? Love is taking a leap of faith, saying, God, I trust you. I'm trusting this person with my heart, right? And sometimes, there's men out there that are not only just praying for you, there's men that specifically praying God for your hand in marriage, right? And that's to any woman out there, right? There's a man somewhere, he's praying this, right? He's fasting for you. He's doing the work, right? The intentional work it takes to provide for you and to cultivate you and to lead you. Don't ever doubt that.
Dang. Chills. I love that, bro. Last question.
Okay.
Okay. Would you say that this would be someone you would recommend for a friend?
Oh, most definitely.
Oh, wow. That was quick.
Yeah.
That was quick.
Yeah.
Why would you say
because
that?
If we're being honest, man, I don't want to say there's not a lot of good men and women out there, but I think sometimes they're hidden, right? I think a lot of times they're hidden because that's not what gets posted and reposted and stuff like that. So that's not what you see.
Wow.
So a lot of people, they look at men I've had followers and women say, "Hey, there's no good men out here," and I've heard men saying, "Hey, there's no good women out here."
Yes.
But there really are.
Wow.
Right now, you might have to do some searching for it, but she's definitely somebody I can, say, "Hey, this would be a good pick for you."
That's
right. Now, does that mean she's gonna be perfect or any woman's gonna be perfect? No, but I think she has the ingredients to be a good wife.
You stole my words, bro.
Hey,
Ingredients. I didn't use
need
that recently.
man. You need it.
Ingredients, the raw material necessary. That's good, man.
But it's up to you to cultivate it, right? As a man, I'm a firm believer, and I know you didn't ask this, but like as a man, your woman is a reflection of you. So if she's not thriving and flourishing and living kingdom and doing all these things, you messing up. Wow. Right? A lot of times we got to take the accountability on ourselves to be like, am I doing everything I can, not just physically, not just financially, but even in the spirit, to say I'm cherishing her, I'm cultivating her, I'm washing her with the word. Wow. Right? Like, because that's our responsibility to wash her with the word, but to do it in grace and love.
To present her to myself, holy, blameless, a reflection of yourself. I love that, man. That cultivating is for you.
Yes.
in essence,
your
it's a
job.
reflection of you. I love that, man. Like, yo, Gems, I'll be honest. I knew this was going to be great, but I had no idea that you was going to really stir the waters like this and bring so much impact in this short conversation. So I just want to say kudos to you, man.
Hey, man.
I wish you the best, man. More success. Is there anything that you dropping, anything that you got coming that you want people to know about?
You already know. Well, not to put the shameless plug out there, but we got the Anointed brand out there, Anointed, walking anointed, living that way. So go check me out on my Instagram page. Man, working on some books right now.
Okay, you're writing now.
Man, been writing. We've just been, trying to juggle that with everything else, right? Coaching is going good, man. Cases trying to knock them out and do that. Poetry, writing some poetry stuff too. Yeah.
Okay, then slide some.
Hey, I'm not on your level yet, right? You know what I mean? But we working there. But man, just trying to be and do everything God called me to do, man.
That's what's up, man. I'm really, really proud of you, man.
Most definitely.
Keep going, bro.
Most definitely.
Yes,
appreciate you.
Absolutely.